To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. So I told you a while back that I hurt my shoulder. I slipped down a hill while I was collecting this firewood, as a matter of fact. I guess I just pushed up on it. You know, it was just a slip and I kind of fell backwards. I didn't feel like I hurt it when it happened. I mean, it was just a minor little fall, but it really strained this shoulder a little bit. So I was kind of resting and decided I wasn't going to split a lot of firewood. Well, it was getting better. Well, as a matter of fact, now it's pretty much healed. So I started splitting some wood and cutting the logs in half and moving right along. And then I went down and had to grab one of the hens out of the meat bird cage. She jumped over the fence and I didn't want her hurting the meat bird, so I went in there and she didn't want me to catch her, so she kind of flew off into my face and I twisted around trying to grab her. I caught her and I strained my back. My suspicions are that I had already made my back tired by cutting all these logs and splitting the wood, and then I went down there and tried to act like I was 10 years old catching chickens, and I strained my back. I'm not a big complainer about pain. I try not to complain about it. I don't go to the doctor. One time I dislocated my ankle. I didn't go to the doctor. I just made my own cast on it, and then when I finally got brave enough, I popped it back into place. This kind of happens to me every season, I guess, with firewood. You just overwork your body. Body's not used to that kind of work. You know, you kind of taking the season off and then you're back at it. I suppose it's like a athlete. He trains all year, prepare for the big season, whatever season it is for his event, and then he hurts himself and he's out for the season. It's just unfortunate because the temperature has cooled off quite a bit and I could really get some work done. But I Googled it and it should be okay within 3 or 4 days. I kind of have this philosophy about pain. You either deal with it and keep at it so you can live your dream and be happy, or you just give up on life and say, okay, I can't deal with the pain. Carolyn's got a significant back injury that she's dealt with most of her adult life, and she works through it every day. So today I'm going to do what I can. Now, as you know, I've been working on my garden, my corn garden here. I'm very proud of it, and I think I'm to a point where it's ready to seed next year. I got some chicken manure that I'm going to spread on it. As soon as the meat birds are butchered, then I'm going to till it again. So this little tiller has done all this work. What I initially did was I hooked it up behind the lawnmower and I was able to drag it around with the lawnmower as it was tilling. That worked really well. If you want to see those, just go to my playlist under gardening and you'll see me tilling with my lawnmower / tiller. The tiller is used. I bought it for 150 bucks. It's got a real solid engine on it. It doesn't smoke, very strong, but the carburetor had some issues. So I replaced the carburetor and the issues went away. But, there's another but, I had a problem with it leaking. So when I put the new carburetor on, gas was coming out. See, here's the gasket. Gas was coming out on this side and rolling down. So as long as I keep this side on the uphill side, so the tiller is leaning this direction, the gas wouldn't leak out. But as soon as it leaned the other way, gas would leak out, and then it started sputtering. I don't know why. So I've bought some sealant that I'm going to put onto this gasket. I'm also going to check, make sure I put this gasket on correctly. But that sealant should stop the leak, and hopefully that'll stop the sputtering. I'm not going to take it to a mechanic. The way I see it is gardens don't save you a lot of money. They can save you money, but if you're spending a fortune on all the equipment so you can have a garden, then it's not saving you money. So this tiller is $150. If I can get it to last 10 years, then that's only $15 a year for the garden. So that starts to pay for itself. But if you go and buy a $400, $500, $600 tiller and it lasts 10 years, then up to $50 or $60. Now it's not paying off because I can go get vegetables, canned vegetables at the store pretty cheap. Okay, so the first thing I got to do is I got to take off the muffler and the air filter. And then I'm going to start removing the carburetor. Now, the reason I put it in the trailer here is so in case I lose a part, it falls in the trailer, not on the ground, and I'll be able to find it. The other thing I do is when I take a piece off and I have a bolt, I make sure the socket stays with the bolt. That way when I want to reassemble it, I can find the socket without having to search for it again. Now, if I have to use socket twice, well, obviously then that's hampers that idea. But I've taken this carburetor off 3 times now. This will be the 3rd time. And I think there's only one socket that's duplicated in the operation. So take off the air filter real quick. Now I made this little screen here. And the reason I made it was these bolts kept coming off. When I bought it, these bolts, one of these bolts was inside the carburetor. Well, I took it off the carburetor, put it back on to find out that I needed a new carburetor. And when I took it off the second time to put the new carburetor on, these bolts here, both of them had fallen in. So I made this just in case my Loctite ever wore off, that it wouldn't fall inside and damage the carburetor. Okay, so now all I got to do is take out 5 little screws here and 2 bolts, and then the carburetor will lift right up. This is a very simple operation. One of my gaskets to the carburetor broke off there. Just noticed that. Look at that. And then I'll be able to reach these gaskets and I'll put the sealant on. Okay, so now the carburetor should come out. I got all the bolts and screws out. I've got all the linkages off. So it should just, yep, slides right out. This pops right out like that. Okay, I'm going to try to take this gasket off. It's a brand new gasket without ripping it, because I don't want to have to there, got it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I got some paper towels. I may have scratched the gas tank. You can see all these scratches when I was trying to get the old gasket off, and that may have caused the leaking. Okay, so I got this gasket dressing. It had good reviews off Amazon, and it's just supposed to seal up any imperfections. And so what you're going to do here is you're just going to put it all the way around all the holes. And then I'm going to put the gasket back on. I also didn't have the gasket on right, it appears. So that might have been causing me some issues. I put a coating of this sealant on the bottom and top side of the gasket. And then there's a gasket over here too, if I can get it off, that I'm going to seal up also. Okay, so now I'll just put the carburetor back into its position, bolt it all back down, reassemble all the linkages, and we'll give it a test drive. Okay, so I got it reassembled, all put back together. I'm going to start it up here, and then I have this little ditch right there. I'm going to try to fill in a little bit, so I'm going to loosen that soil up on the other side of it. I guess the utility company came in and dug that up, but they never filled it back in. So I'm going to fill it back in with the dirt over there. Okay, it seems to be running, so I'm going to go over and test it out. I think I fixed it. The leak has gone away. The gas cap leaks a little bit. So I'm really proud of that little thing. It's cost a little bit of time to try to work out all the bugs on it. So I did pretty good. You can see here I tilled that little mound of dirt there. See, I'm sure I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's a mound here. And so when they dug out this ditch for the utilities, they just never put it back. So I want to level this off a bit so I can take the lawnmower across here to the bridge. That way, if I want to load up the wagon with firewood, I'll be able to just come right across this. Right now, the lawnmower really struggles to get across that. With the chains, it'll dig its way through it, but it's tough. And the other thing is this directs water right down to my well. All that water clicks here. I want that water to go into the actual ditch, or just kind of smoothly go down the hill like it's supposed to. But they've really deformed the property here, is my point. So that worked out really well, so I'll continue to do that after I heal up. I think the point of this video is I really am glad I haven't given up on that tiller. I mean, it was a $150 tiller, and it's really easy to say, oh, heck with it, it's just a piece of junk, it's never going to work. But I've kept after it, and I didn't have to hire a mechanic. I'm sure I could take a mechanic, they would have charged me another $100, and now I got a $250 tiller. I think I got a total of $25 invested in it with the new carburetor and the gasket sealer. It's got its quirks, I guess, because while it's trying to warm up, it really idles badly. I don't know, after 5 or 6 minutes, that idling smooths out and runs great. So I hope I can inspire you to keep after it so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.